So many random questions, so many answers, and so much information. If you have a bunch of random questions about the Disney International program or what it's like moving to Orlando, check out this video. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Christina and I'm a former CP and CRP. So now in this video, I will answer a bunch of random questions that my other CRP friends and I have been asked the most. I'm also helping right now a girl here from Germany going through her application process of becoming a CRP for Germany soon. So check out this video for a bunch of random questions that you already might have had. If anything is not answered in this video, make sure to comment down with your question down below and I'll be happy to answer that question as well. All right, let's get started. All right, so question number one is, do you need a car? No, you do not need a car because Disney does provide transportation that takes you from your housing to work, but also to the parks, to the resorts, because people obviously work at different locations. So these buses are exclusive for people who are living in Disney housing. You have your housing ID. Every time you want to get on a bus, you have to show your housing ID and it takes you whatever the route is. So the buses take you not only to work and some different other locations, but they also take you to places like Walmart, the mall, or the post office. So most places that you would want to go on a daily basis, or at least regularly, they will take you. There are quite a few more options if you want to go to other places that the Disney bus transportation does not cover. For example, there's always the opportunity of taking an Uber or a Lyft. Or if you're old enough, you can of course rent a car. There are a bunch of car rental locations around the housing complexes because there are also a bunch of hotels around and they usually have car rental offices inside of them. Of course, there is also the option of buying a car, and people have done it a lot. There are always a couple of people, like a handful of people I know from my German program, that bought a car. Super great, super convenient. Here are a few things though to consider. First, you need a Florida driver's license, so you need to apply for that. Also, of course, you need car insurance, so you need to take care of that, and that does cost money, obviously. Of course, you also need to buy the car itself. So what usually happens is that culture representatives sell their cars to each other. So if somebody's program is over and they have a car, they usually offer it to other CRPs in the program, and that's we basically trade cars around the whole time. Since Disney housing does have parking, there are parking spaces. My last information is that you need to pay a one-time parking fee. I'm not 100% sure about how much that is, but just keep that in mind. And also you have to think about gas money. I recommend to anybody who's thinking about buying a car, make sure to bring extra money with you at the beginning of your program if you plan on buying it, because by the time you maybe have saved up enough money to buy a decent car, maybe half of your program is already over, and then really, is it worth it for just a couple of months, the hassle of getting a driver's license, insurance, and all of that just for like the last 4 months or so? Probably not. So if you plan on buying a car because you want to be more independent, or maybe you're used to it because you've had a car back home and you cannot imagine a year without a car, then make sure to bring money beforehand and buy it as soon as possible in your program, so it's really going to be worth it. Next question is, do you get or do I get time off? Yes, you do get time off. Usually it's about 2 days a week. Of course, not regular Sundays and Saturdays like a regular weekend, because Disney's open 24/7, but Disney's open every single day. So if you're in the hospitality industry, kiss goodbye to weekends. But you usually have 2 days off somewhere within the week, and during peak season and peak times like holidays, you might only have one left if there's so much to do, or the pavilion is understaffed. So that's always a possibility. But you can also request extra days off. They're called ADOs, additional days off. You will not, of course, be paid during those days, but at least you can maybe go somewhere else on a little trip or on vacation, so you do get time off. You can, of course, also ask for ADOs if you have family from home visiting or anything last minute comes up. There's also always the possibility to talk to your fellow CRPs and trade shifts. Just whenever in the German pavilion something happened, or somebody had visitors spontaneously from out of town, we were able to trade our shifts within the system, within the pavilion. Just make sure to give the managers a heads up and go up and ask them, because they still need to approve it and put it into the system. Another popular question is, can I go back home and visit? Yes, you are able to go back home for a visit. I did that whenever my brother got married, so I took 1.5 weeks, or maybe even, no, just 1 week off, and I flew back home for the wedding. So here are two perspectives to keep in mind. From the Disney perspective, make sure to talk to your scheduling manager. There's always one manager in the pavilion or one manager within your location who is handling the schedules. So go to him or her and tell them, hey, I have a wedding coming up at home, or I need to go home because. So then they will tell you, all right, thank you for letting me know. Put in the days into the hub. Was it the hub? Yeah. The hub is a system where you will find a bunch of information and also request your days off. So you go ahead, go into the hub, request the days off that you want to request, but your manager does keep in mind that it's an important time, or you need those days off for an important reason. So you're basically giving them a heads up that it's something important, and not just because you want an extra day off, but because something important is going on. Usually it works out well, and they can give you that time off. Remember, you still have to pay rent during that time, so it doesn't matter if you're gone for a week or two, rent is still due. From a government point of view, it is no problem to re-enter the US on your Q1 visa, as long as you have your paperwork with you and your status is still accurate. What that means is have the I-94 with you when you enter the US. It is a piece of paper that has your status on there. For example, it will show that you are still on the Q1 visa and that you are allowed to re-enter the US, that, for example, your Q1 visa was not canceled or anything like that. Just have that piece of paper ready. When I came back home, when I went back to Orlando after my brother's wedding, at immigrations, I just came up to them, to the gentleman, and I said, hello, I'm re-entering the US on my Q1 visa. And he was like, what happened? And I was like, my brother's wedding? So he's like, oh, okay, never mind. He thought something has happened, that's why I left, and now I had to come back or anything like that. They just ask you those questions about why you left and why you're coming back, and then you just tell them, hey, I'm still on my Disney program. I just left because I went back home for the wedding, for a family emergency, or sometimes if you also leave the country to go on vacation, for example, to Mexico, Canada, that's also a reason to print out your I-94 and have handy with you when re-entering the US. Okay, now probably the most asked question is, where do you live? So Disney has housing complexes ready for its international participants, but also if you are doing the Disney college program as an American, you get to live in Disney housing. Disney has 4 housing complexes in Orlando, and the apartments are furnished, so you don't need to worry about furniture or a bed or a mattress or anything like that. You get to move in into that Disney housing. You have to pay rent every week, and usually you have to share the apartment. Well, you have to share the apartment, and you have to also share your bedroom with at least 1 person. But if you have bunk beds, there are a total of 3 people in 1 bedroom. Yeah, so it's gonna be cozy. Related to that housing question is Vista Way really that bad? All right, so one of the complexes is called Vista Way, and Vista has a reputation of either being oldish or being the party complex. Here's the thing, Vista Way is the oldest complex out of all 4 complexes. So of course it's gonna have a more used look to it. They are always, or constantly at least, renovating and improving. Yes. Housing's version of improving and renovating, or their definition, is very interesting. So yes, they're constantly doing something, but I don't really know if it's that much of an improvement. But anyways, it's still there. You can live in it. It's acceptable. They have amenities like a pool, a tennis court, a baseball court. They have a little gym, and well, all of the complexes mostly do have that, but you can definitely look that up on the Disney International Program webpage. Other than that, yes, Vista has a reputation of being the loud party complex. Let's get this clear. If your neighbors across from you, next to you, above you, underneath you, left or right, doesn't matter. If they are loud and they play loud music and I don't know, banging doors, it doesn't really matter which complex you're in, you will hear it. Other than that, Vista is somewhat the party complex, simply because if you walk outside of Vista and you turn left, there's an area with a parking that belongs to the gas station next to it, and also the Walgreens across from Vista, and that's the location where most people meet up to get on party buses to go downtown Orlando and go clubbing. So automatically everybody who wants to go out and is taking one of these party buses will be taking the bus to Vista. Sometimes people who are living at Vista invite their friends over to pre-drink or pre-game in the housing at Vista, and then everybody is going from Vista outside and around the corner to get in one of those party buses. So that's kind of why Vista has that kind of reputation, because those party buses don't stop anywhere else, I think, besides Chatham. But if you're, I don't know if they stop at Commons, but mostly that's the reason why. Also, Vista has a gas station right around the corner and Walgreens right across the corner. So if people are looking to buy a few drinks or anything like that before going out to downtown Orlando, of course, that's kind of where everybody will be at. So that's the thing about Vista. Yes, it is somewhat the party place or the party complex, but for example, I was living in the very back of Vista, and I barely had any issues with noise or anything like that. The highway, the I-4, was right by my window, so the cars in the I-4 was louder than the parties or like the loud people getting ready for parties ever were. But if you live in the very front, close to the security entrance, might be a different story then. All right, so some people also ask about safety. Living in Orlando or living in housing in general, every single housing complex has security at the entrance. So if you want to enter housing, you have to show your housing ID. If somebody does not have a housing ID, they can, or lost it, or misplaced it, forgot it, whatever, they will look you up in the system, they will ask you questions, and once they know and they see your picture in the system, that's when they will let you in. If you want to, let's say, bring a guest or you have family over and they want to see your apartment, for example, you can always sign them in. Just be aware that whoever you sign in, you have to be responsible for that person. If that person is doing anything they shouldn't do, like cause trouble or something like that, it will be on you, because you are the person that signed that person in. So be careful of who you take in, just so there is gonna be no problem and there won't be any issues. Other than that, outside of the apartments, I would always recommend be extremely careful crossing streets. Pedestrians or people walking in Florida, in Orlando, is something unusual, unless it's a shopping mall or it's a Disney park. But people outside on streets, the streets are not made for people to walk. Most people drive their car everywhere. So car drivers are usually extremely careless when they are crossing, or they're driving and there is a crossroad for pedestrians. So be very careful, even if the light for you is technically green. Look left and right, just like you learned in elementary school, because some of the drivers in Orlando are extra special. Let's put it that way. Do you get to go into the parks? Yes, you do. That's a big plus, or a big advantage of doing or working for Disney. You get free entrance, at least for yourself, into the parks. So you can go to the parks before work, after work, or if you work at a park like most of the CRPs, you're there every day at Epcot. But anyways, so yes, you do get free admission, at least for yourself, to go into the parks. You can go into Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, of course Epcot, and also Disney has 2 water parks that you get to go in for free. Thank you, Disney. Next popular question is, what about your phone? Of course, you need a phone in the US as well. What I did with during my last program, I talked to my service provider here in Germany and asked them if they have anything affordable, a contract or package that allows me to be a longer time for a year in the US and use my German contract. Unfortunately, they are only kind of limited to vacation packages or something like that, so there is nothing really affordable there. That's why I paused my contract for 1 year and took my cell phone with me to the US and bought myself a SIM card there, like a prepaid SIM card. Make sure that your phone is SIM lock free, so you can put any kind of SIM card in your phone, not only just your service and cell phone provider from your home country. Most popular ones are AT&T and T-Mobile. There's also Verizon, I believe. So before going to the US, check out what they have offered online. I went to Walmart on my move-in date and talked to the person at the store about what kind of special offers maybe there are at the moment. And I decided on getting a T-Mobile SIM card because I heard good things about it, at least that the service was well, and that was true. However, I remember it being kind of expensive. I think I paid like $45 a month, and the data wasn't even unlimited, it was limited. So I think I paid a little too much there. I wish I would have maybe researched a little more, or maybe have gotten something cheaper. But anyways, so I paid like 45 bucks. I went to Walgreens, got a card from there, like a $45 value card for T-Mobile, and uploaded it to my T-Mobile account. Then what I did, just go to Walmart. The person at the counter even was nice enough to help me set it up. So he put it in the phone, well, listen to all the instructions, put all the numbers in, and was super helpful. So I walked out of there with a phone that was working. I had a new cell phone number, an American cell phone number. I made sure to share that with my family and friends. And for that whole year, it worked pretty well. I did not have any issues. So that's getting a SIM card while you're in the US is 100% the most popular option of handling this. Everybody I ever talked to always told me they had an American SIM card because it's cheaper and it's easier to manage. So before even moving to the US, do a little bit of research. What SIM card or prepaid options are there right now, if there are any special deals, and check online what they have. I will also post something down in the description below, something that you can check out and maybe see if you can find something that works for you. Another popular question is, how much money do I have to bring with me when starting the program or moving to Orlando? You have to buy a lot of things once you get there because you couldn't take them with you from back home. At least I don't think anybody really does bring their pillow and bed sheets and their hangers with them, or their detergent to wash their clothes. You do need quite a bit of money up front. So I would recommend, to be on the safe side, $500 either in cash or on your credit card, or a mix of those two with you for to spend. Because the first couple of few days, or like the first 1 or 2 weeks, are the most expensive one, because you do need to buy things or spend money on things that you just need to have, because in the first couple of days or the first couple of weeks you will have to spend money on things in order to get settled. It doesn't matter if it's a laundry detergent to wash your clothes, or bed sheets or hangers. Of course, you also need to buy food and your SIM cards for your phone, for example. So for a couple of few days or the first week is a bit costly, but once you start working and you get paid regularly, you can live off of that money that you earn. Make sure to check out my video about how to save money moving into Disney housing, because there are a couple of things that I really don't think you need to waste your money on. Also, I will soon upload a video about things you really need moving into Disney housing, so you know what to buy and where to buy it. Another important question I get asked a lot is, how much money does the whole process of applying and getting to Disney and starting the program really cost? So this is a question that is somewhat hard to answer, because it depends on a lot of things, a lot of factors of how much money it will actually cost. Let's keep in mind, there is a program fee, there is a visa fee. You also have to fly over there, you have to pay for health insurance, and the whole application process might also cost you money, especially if you, let's say, live on the countryside and you have to have a face-to-face interview with Disney or with the company that does the recruiting for Disney, let's say for countries like Italy, France, and the UK. Another company does the recruiting, the application process. So, and even for us Germans, Disney does it directly, but still we have to go to Frankfurt for a face-to-face interview. All of that potentially costs money if you have to travel to a specific city to join the face-to-face interview. Of course, that does cost money, and also moving there, getting settled and all of that. So realistically, I would say, and please, if you are a former CRP, doesn't matter if you're from Germany or from a different country, if you want to share your experience and your perspective on this question, on this topic, please make sure to comment down below. The more information we have, the better prepared people and applicants are, and just let's help each other out with that kind of information. But my perspective is that it will cost you at least 1,500 euros up to 2,000 euros, because things like your health insurance, it really depends on what you decide you want to purchase, what kind of package they offer and you're most comfortable with. Also, it really depends how much you have to pay for your flight ticket. As you guys know, flights and flight tickets, the prices go up and down. It depends on many factors: vacation time, summer break, or if you travel from a small airport to a big airport, or the other way around, if you're from the countryside, or if you're like me, live in a big city and there is a big airport right around the corner with direct connection to Orlando. It all depends. So that's why anything, there is a range from 1,500 to 2,000 euros, I would say. If euro is not your home currency, you guys do the math. But that's something, I think that's realistically what you need to take into consideration. Let's not forget that it doesn't matter what kind of program you do, or if you want to live for 1 year, live and work abroad, it is always tied to costs, so nothing is for free. It doesn't matter if you do work and travel in Australia or if you are an au pair somewhere, there are always costs to be considered. So I still believe it's very worth it to do the program. So just keep that in mind before or when applying, that there is a financial factor, there is money that you need to pay upfront in order to start the program. All right, that's it for this time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was able to answer a bunch of random questions that you might have. If not, make sure to comment down below and let me know what your question is. I'll be more than happy to answer. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, because I do upload new videos every single Thursday about tips and tricks on how to save time, money, and a lot of stress while having the most magical international experience at Disney in Orlando. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.